Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the CareSouth South Carolina Community Live Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Marek Calhoun, Director of Social and Community Services, CareSouth South Carolina, here with my partner in crime.
This is Daniel Myers, MATSD Program Director, CareSouth South Carolina. Glad to see everybody. Hey.
And we have a good one here for you today. All right.
Yes.
We have in the house again some of our behavioral health counselors. This right here particular show is based around our school-based behavioral health counselors, but I'm not going to talk you to death. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to start with Ms. Amy Cook without an E.
Without an E.
I got it right.
I'm Amy Cook. I'm Assistant Director for Behavioral Health, and I also provide school-based services to Lakeview Elementary School.
All right. Liz? Liz?
I'm Liz Kershner. I'm the Director of Behavioral Health at CareSouth.
All right. And that was Liz Kershner. She's the Director of Behavioral Health Services for CareSouth South Carolina. And Miss Asya.
I'm Asya Penzo-Shumard, and I offer school-based counseling at Long Middle School in Sherrall.
Last but not least, my man Jack.
I'm Jack Rhyne. I'm provide behavioral health services at 3 schools. I'm at Edwards Elementary today, where I'm talking to you from. I also go to Plainview Elementary, and I go to Ruby Elementary.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we wanted to get you all down onto the show today, kind of talk about the behavioral health services that we have inside the school during this pandemic. There's a lot of anxiety and depression going on with, I know the adults, but it has to be taking a toll on our kids who are geared up to get back into school. So we want to start today. Kind of tell us about the program. How did it get started? And where did it come from? Why was it important to have this program?
The program, our school-based counseling services, started about 6 years ago. It was the Chesterfield School District and some other community agencies, United Way, the Coordinating Council, along with partner agencies, Alpha Center and Tri-County Mental Health Center. There was an opportunity to apply for a Department of Juvenile Justice grant, which provided some startup funds to begin school-based counseling services in the schools in Chesterfield County. And we were really, we jumped at the chance to be part of that. And so we're in Chesterfield County, we're in 8 schools. We have 2 of our counselors with us in the Chesterfield schools. And, Amy will talk about, she's in the Lakeview schools. But we have, 2 field schools. So that's, it got started because school-based counseling is always something that CareSouth was interested in getting into. And so when this opportunity came along to provide services to children in the schools where they already were, it increased access, it increased opportunities. Counselors could work with the teachers and the parents, of course, in a setting that's familiar to the children. They didn't have to go to another office. The convenience, and then reaching children, when they're young, helping them learn to do problem solving when they're young can make, a difference for their entire future.
Yeah.
So, I'll let, Jack and Asya and Amy kind of take it from there.
Okay, so we started counseling in Chesterfield County first. And I live in Lakeview, South Carolina. So there was a need at the elementary school for a counselor to come into the schools and see the children. So we started with Dillon School District 4 for just Lakeview Elementary about 4 years ago. And so I've been providing services there. And then last year we started in the middle and the high school here in Lakeview. Tara Coburn provides services at that school. And so it's been really great. We're able to work, like Liz said, with the teachers, the parents, to kind of do integrated with everyone and be able to provide the services to children. We already had, services, dental services. We already had healthcare services at the schools. And so this was kind of an addition that really helped kind of close the gap that was needed within the school districts.
Absolutely. So Asia, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Let us get to know you. We've had Amy on before, and she got to wow us with who she is and what she does. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long you've been with CareSouth? Tell us about your journey.
Okay, well, I've been with CareSouth. This year will be 11 years, so a pretty long time. I started off as a telephone operator, and I've had several jobs with CareSouth before I became a licensed counselor. Liz was actually one of my mentors that encouraged me to go this route. I do school-based counseling 1 day a week at Long Middle School, and I also see adults, teens, children, whomever in the Hartsville office.
Okay.
What about you, Jack?
Well, I've been here since 2008. I came over from mental health and have done mental health counseling of some sort most of my life. I love seeing the kids in school, though. One thing I wanted to mention about the school program, I also see adults in the office in Chesterfield, but I think one of the biggest benefits of seeing kids in school is that we get to see them in a natural environment. We get to see firsthand some of the struggles that they have in dealing with schoolwork and dealing with their peers. And also it's access to care is much easier because the parents don't have to take time off from work to bring them in. And that was really a barrier to services before. So this way we can see them as often as once a week if we need to.
Wow.
And I like the idea of having this type of service inside the schools because at an early age, it helps reduce the stigma around behavioral health and those services. So getting those kids introduced to help early, it'd make a huge, like Liz said, a huge impact in their lives later on. So they won't be afraid to seek that care, to seek that help, and they can help dispel the stigma in their generation. So hopefully in the next 5 or 10 years, there will be no stigma behind behavioral health.
Right.
So that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Lance. One of the things that our fellow counselor Brad and I both noticed is we have a lot of kids begging to come into the sessions with us, kids who have no problems at all. They know these kids have a good time if they want in on.
Yeah. And Jack just gave me another name. Jack just called me Lance. That's in my former life, but
okay.
I go by Daniel right now. So, but
Okay.
For your Daniel, bro.
Huh? What you say? Am I right?
That's it.
But this is to me, this is one of the most important programs that we have at CareSouth because it really introduces those kids to a whole array of different services that we have, and just remove that fear and everything that they have about people expressing their concerns and their problems. So also it helped the parents out a lot because sometimes the parents don't know how to relate to the children, and having that second party, that third party to come in and talk to them, get a lot of answers out that they wouldn't normally get out at home. So thank you guys for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me ask this right here. How does one get into services, get their child into services, if there's a need or something's going on at home, or even some issues in school with the teachers in school? How can I, as a parent, enroll my child into a school-based program?
You could speak with the principal, the guidance counselor. We advertise in the school, so a lot of times we have our flyers up there so they know kind of who we are and how to get in contact with us. But I've got referrals from janitors, from bus drivers, grandmas, cousins, anybody really. But I guess basically the principal or the guidance counselor probably be the first go-to.
Mhm. And let's not forget teachers. A lot of referrals come directly from the child's teacher.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we get the referrals, sometimes the people making the referral aren't really sure exactly what they want to work on. They just know that there's something different about this child that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of referrals will also come from the school nurse as well.
Right.
I like to,
Liz?
oh yeah. I like to say there's no wrong door into getting into counseling. In fact, we've put the cell phone numbers of all the counselors. We put them all over Facebook, assigned to their child's school, to schedule, that way. And then it's great, to hear, and the counselor can get that information over the phone and then start services. Try to make it as easy as possible to access.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And the kids refer themselves as well. I get a lot of teens that will come. I need to come and talk to you. Can you come get me? Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So the kids are sounds like the kids are really receptive to wanting the counseling. Once they get in there, they're able to talk about the things that are going on and bothering them. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's either
And
that
they
or
see
you want
it.
to get out of class.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll see us in the schools, so they see us a lot. They see us walk in the halls, and so that's another thing for children that get referred. We're not new faces to them. On a normal basis, they may go to a counselor in a regular office setting. They're really nervous. With us, they've seen us walk in the halls. They've seen us with the children. They're more comfortable, and so that helps with the children coming to see us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you've immersed yourself into the culture of that school.
Absolutely.
Well,
And I think that's important to be
and I
able
think it's the culture of the community too, Mark.
Okay.
They see us in the grocery store. They see us in Walmart, and there's something. If you think back to your own childhood, there's something very exciting and very special about seeing a teacher out in the community to see them in their role.
Yeah.
I still get excited to this day when I see a teacher in high school. I promise you I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Because it takes you back and you remember those good times. So I can even remember growing up seeing a teacher in the grocery store. You were excited unless you I stayed in trouble a lot.
Right.
Sometimes I'm pulling mama away from teacher, but but I absolutely understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some other schools that you were in, some counselors that weren't able to make it on with us today. Could you kind of, unfortunately, they're not here to be able to introduce themselves. Could you introduce them to us? Someone introduce them to us and tell us what schools they're affiliated with.
Y'all want me to take this one? Okay, so for Dillon District 4, you have Tara Coburn. She's a licensed independent social worker. She goes to the Lakeview Middle and High School. We are both at the school every Wednesday, and on the other days we are in the offices. She is in our Dillon CareSouth office, and I am in the Lakeview CareSouth office. We also have Brad Burgess. He is a licensed professional counselor, and he goes to Pageland Elementary School and Petersburg Primary School. We have Sakisha McGee, who is a licensed master social worker. She goes to New Heights Middle School. We have Laura Chavis, licensed professional counselor, and she goes to Sherrill High School.
Good. So
we have a bunch of schools.
That's wonderful. So let me ask you a question. So are these kids, whenever they're coming in to see you guys for counseling, are they pulled out of how do they come to you guys? What, like, are they pulled out of their core classes, or do you wait for like an elective, or how do you get them out of class just to make sure they don't miss any educational opportunities there?
Well, I try to get mines out of the elective courses, or maybe a course that they're doing better in than others. If they got an A in math and a C in English, I'm like, okay, well, you can stand to miss a few minutes out of English if we run into that sort of situation. But I usually try to do mines during the electives.
Okay.
It's a little different in elementary school. Of course, you don't have electives and things like that. So I try to pull them out of class where they won't miss too much. But ironically, I can also pull them out of a class they may be struggling in, and sometimes I'll actually have them bring some of their schoolwork with them, and we'll work on that as a sort of vehicle for conversation.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the younger children really need that individual attention to complete their assignments. So a lot of our kids have trouble with focus and concentration.
One thing that I think is going to look different this year, obviously because of COVID-19, is a lot of the kids may not be able to go to their electives, even in elementary school. I don't want to pull them when they're at recess, or, they need to get out, they need to play. And a lot of them enjoy their electives, like music and art and things like that. So I basically speak with the teachers, what is the best time for you? And I try to adjust the schedule around, what they think is the best time to pull the student. But obviously this year it's going to be very different. Because there's not going to be a lot of traveling in the halls, and it's going to be very specific. So it's going to be interesting to see, how everything plays out as far as school base goes.
Right.
And what type of cases or what type of problems do you guys address at the school? What do you see a lot of, and what are some things that really bother you and disturb you about some of the things that you see in school that you wish that we had more support or more help with?
I think the biggest thing for me that is concerning is sometimes a lack of parental involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Because the children usually suffer from the same type of things adults have: anxiety, depression, grief. But my issue when it comes with the children is sometimes I can't get the parents as involved as I would like for them to be, so that the things that we discuss and implement during counseling can continue at home. And if I don't have engagement with the parent, it can't happen.
Okay. So Asya, if you can say something to a parent right now that's listening, what would be one thing that you would say to them right now to encourage them to be more involved?
Listening.
Call me.
That's simple, huh?
It's that simple. Just call me.
Good.
Call me.
Good.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They keeping those lines of communications open is very, very important.
Yeah.
One thing that has come out of COVID-19, we can't say much positive has come, but we have begun, for behavioral health, it's really, it's gotten us started with telehealth, or teletherapy, as I call it for counselors. Said, do more video with the parents. We can actually on Duo or video. We can actually talk to them, face to face on the phone. Because getting to the school was hard for parents. It is. They work, all this. So the fact that we can now do video, with the parents and with the children who are going to be on virtual school, the kids who are going to be doing virtual school, we can, our counselors can do the teletherapy over the phone with video with them. But, they're already doing that. They started that back in March and continued it through the summer. And it works.
Yeah.
Even with small children.
And I can imagine that with working in different districts every district is kind of, their plan is kind of different from what we're going to see going forward. Some are on those AB schedules. Some of them, like here in Darling County, for the first 2 weeks, they're going total virtual. So being able to be flexible and seeing the students in the school as well as telehealth, that gives a whole lot of flexibility for you all as a council.
Yeah.
So how do we introduce, or how do we let the people know? And Liz just talked about the teletherapy and everything else, but a lot of parents don't know about teletherapy. Can you just give us like a rundown on what happens with teletherapy? Just a typical teletherapy visit. Just give us just an idea how that works.
I don't know which one you want me to do. Okay,
Anybody?
so what the way it's been working is,
really, you want to go ahead? Yeah, I mean,
there's a little lag. Okay. So usually we contact the parents, set a time up, even if they're virtual at home, if the children are at home, set a time up that we can talk with the children. And like, Jack and Asia said, and Liz, we do video. So we are able to video with the child. We're able to see them and they're able to see us to provide services. It's been very beneficial for these parents. The children have been home for months. For these parents to be able to do it virtually because the kids can still get counseling even though school has been out. Initially, we would see kids within the school. Now we can do it both ways. So we can do it through teletherapy. And just so, all parents that may be watching, if it's a time, these kids that are going to be virtual are going to be still 8 to 3, and, with the virtual school. So, just so everyone knows, all the parents know, we still can see these children. We can set up times maybe after school that we can perform teletherapy so that the parent can be involved and the children. So we can adjust the schedule around, what the children need based on the new, our new way of life. So that's very important. But it's the exact same thing. It's just a video. You can do video conferencing. And we do the same thing as we would do in the school system.
Wonderful.
Except by seeing the child in the home, you can see some things that are special to them. The kids like to show you their action heroes that they have in their bedroom. They all like to show you their trampoline and their bicycles and their pets. Those are very important to be able to see those.
I'm sure some of them have some interesting.
Yeah.
So real quick, and any one of y'all can take this right here. Just thinking about some of the parents and everything that's been going on. The kids get shut in due to COVID, and they're going to get, again, there's still some anxiety out there. What are some things that parents can do at home to maybe ease some of the anxiety for some of the kids that's thinking about going back to school, or even the ones that's going to be home here virtually and not be able to get out as more?
Well, the children that I've seen aren't really too worried about the contagion factor. They're ready and eager to get back to school. So I don't think that's a concern. The biggest concern I'm seeing with the kids who are at home now is the absence of routine, and helping the parents come up with a way to provide some structure in a home has been really challenging. Some of the kids I've talked to this year are so ready to go back to school just because they're used to that routine and having structured activities during the day. So I think that's the biggest challenge we're seeing.
Okay.
And what are some of the things that we need to be looking out for as parents that might be warning signs that there's something going on as we go back into school, so these kids don't go back in carrying a bunch of weight on them and actively acting out in class because of other things? What do we need to be looking for as parents? Because my son is a senior this year, and So I'm watching him because this is his senior year, and there's a lot of things that's changed that he saw his sister do a couple of years ago that he can't do now. And so I'm watching him carefully to make sure that he's not going into, isolation or being quiet or being withdrawn. So I'm watching out for that, based on some of the things that Amy talked about in another podcast that we had. So what do we need to be looking for as parents right now as things are ramping back up that might be a warning sign that our kids are not ready to go back, or that our kids really need to go back, or our kids need something? What do we need to be looking for?
Asia, you're in high school. You want to take that one?
Yeah, I didn't know if y'all could still hear me because I was going in and out. I think exactly what you're doing, Daniel, paying attention to their behaviors, grades, any change in friends, change in hobbies, appetite, sleep. Those are probably the most basic things. If you see something different with one of those categories, I think those
One of the things
up.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lance, along those lines, one of the things I've noticed is among the teenagers is something that's changed among the generation. I do a talk at the local high school once a year and talk about just communication and anxiety. And one thing I've discovered is that a lot of teenagers are very worried about their parents' and grandparents' health. They're also much more concerned about finances than previous generations ever were. A lot of times you'll have both parents working. They may be living with elderly grandparents who have health issues. And even though the parents may try to shield their kids from this, the kids are all too aware of what's going on and they worry about that. So I think one thing parents and grandparents need to do is to reassure the kids that we're going to work this out. We're going to get through this somehow, and we'll be here for you. I think that's important to say.
Yeah. And we had talked, I know I covered this before when I did the podcast for school-based children. I, have the very young children up, from kindergarten to grade 5. And one of the things that I have, would be looking for would be, acting out as far as behavior goes, anger, isolation at home, sleep schedules, a lot of that, children that age, obviously, they don't really have a lot of words that they can say to kind of tell you how they feel. That's one way we kind of come in and help them, is to help them understand what they're feeling, what emotions they're feeling, and how to manage those emotions. And you will see that a lot in anger, focus, concentration, isolating at home. And those are kind of things to look for with the smaller children.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Sounds good. Wow, this was some great information here today. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. What you think, Daniel?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. I don't want to close out until I ask this. This is one of the most important questions that we kind of ask on the podcast, and we get a lot of varying answers. But what do y'all like to do for fun?
We can't do anything right now.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to get creative.
That's right.
You got to get creative. Like I hope to be on somebody's water this time tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So what do you do when you're not at work and you're on the weekend? I know that some things are limited, but if we can go back a year, what are some things that you like to do to kind of unwind and to make sure to kind of do some self-care and de-press at the end of the week?
well, one of the challenges for me, Mark, has been with music. Some of you may know my wife and I lead praise in our small church, but we're not allowed to sing anymore. And so figuring out ways to get the congregation involved when they can't sing along with you has been a major challenge. But we continue to have fun with it every week.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Asia.
Well, a year ago, I would be traveling. That was one of my hobbies. And just finding things to do with my daughter anywhere I can get her tired. So running, walking, jumping, anything, anything to get the little person to go to sleep at night.
Absolutely.
The summer has always been spent at the beach, so we haven't been able to go there. So spending time with family and friends, that's all you can do right now is limit activity. But just children, they're all home.
Yeah, I know. And that's been the whole thing, trying to be creative with the kids at home. And
right.
And, sometimes, as parents, we can sit there and watch TV, or we can read a book, but making sure the kids have something to do, that's kind of been the challenge.
Yeah.
Other than playing video games all day.
Yeah, my children's schedule is terrible. It's been hard to. I'm very interested to see what happens when school starts back. They're going to be extremely tired.
Yeah.
Miss Liz, what about you?
Anything outside, that's my happy place. Hiking in the woods, gardening, a little bit of painting, a little bit of cooking, distractions,
cookies.
Yeah.
It's what I enjoy. It's what makes me happy. What?
Still owe us some lemon cookies. Just throwing that out there. Just tossing them on. Yeah.
I do.
Putting it on.
Oh, look.
I need to pay that debt.
Oh, okay.
Grandbaby.
She's big, Daniel.
He is.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Precious.
Well, great. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much, guys. The information that you all provided today was some great information. We look forward to you all having a productive and safe school year this year with the children.
Thank you.
And I can imagine there's going to be a lot of folks wanting to have those conversations. A lot of work for you to do. A lot of kind of healing for you all to do with these kids that's been, they kind of been locked away here over the last 3, 4, 6 months. So on behalf of myself and Daniel, I wish you all a great school year. We look forward to hopefully have y'all on again as we get further in it.
That's right. And one last thing, and I just want to say this, Marek. Thank you guys that are in the school and in the offices for helping keeping our children's mental health up front. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for having us.
Oh, anytime. And we look again. We hope to have you further as the school year progresses. To have you maybe at the turn of the school year to see where we at and how's everything still going, and touch base with you.
I feel like y'all are going to contact me again.
Oh yeah, you know it.
It's
That's what we do.
That's what we do. But thank you again. But as always, if you want to get in contact with any of our behavioral health counselors, and particularly our school-based counselors, you can reach us on our website at www.caresouth-carolina.com. Again, that is www.caresouth-carolina.com. You can also access us on our Facebook page, or you can call us at 1-866-498-0399. Again, we're done. Thank you for a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Ladies and Jack, you were great today. and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we will be posting the
Thank you, guys.
flyers.
That's right.
Absolutely. We will post the flyers for all of the behavioral health counselors, community-based counselors once we conclude here, as well as we will refresh teletherapy as well flyer once we're done here. All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
We're out.
Bye.
Bye.